Hey, Jenna.
Oh, hello.
Nice to see you here. Fancy seeing you here.
Fancy seeing you here.
Oh, welcome back, guys,
He
to the
doesn't
Jenna
even go here.
Julie. She doesn't even live here. Podcast. Thanks.
I want a high five.
High five.
Oh.
Tradition.
If you're listening at home, make sure that you high five yourself or a small child.
Or an animal, even
Yeah.
if they're not looking.
Yeah, it's okay.
This podcast is brought to you by MeUndies.
MeUndies.
Some of the most comfortable underwear in the world. Literally twice as soft as cotton. It just looks at cotton and it's just like, ha, you're cute. Go to MeUndies.com/Jenna Julien for 20% off your first pair. MeUndies. That's MEUndies.com/Jenna Julien.
And the best part about MeUndies is that you don't have to go to the MeUndies store. You can get the MeUndies delivered to your bottom.
Like underwear delivered to your house. You don't have to go get underwear ever again.
I really need to actually get a bunch of MeUndies because Peach keeps chewing all of my undies.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I want to fucking...
Sorry, my dog's a perv.
She is. She's a panty sniffer.
Today is my Peach anniversary.
It is.
The
You got her a
Peach-iversary.
year ago.
A year ago today, I got Peach.
Oh, and she's been eating my underwear ever since.
So thank you, MeUndies, for restocking Jenna's underwear.
Yeah, thank you. Because I want them delivered to me because I can't possibly go to the mall that much.
No, nobody can.
No
Not
one
even people
can.
who work at the mall. So
We told that story though, right? Of how we were trying to figure out how she kept getting my underwear because it didn't make any sense because I had
the
them in
drawer
a
was
dresser.
shut. Yeah.
And we caught her opening the drawer with her little fink snout and pulling them out.
So naughty. Fucking
Yeah, and
naughty.
then she brings them downstairs and like gives them to people.
She hands your underwear out. Classic wait.
Bitch. That's not a present for coming over. It's not like a party favor.
She'll always
Peach.
bring stuff she's not supposed to have just to you. Like,
I was sitting outside and she
Fuck
brought
your
my
rules.
sneaker to me.
yeah.
Like, hey, I have this thing that I'm not supposed to have. Here you go. It's for you now.
She's like Derp Game 1000. She doesn't even know how.
Derp
how
game
to
next
stop.
level. Next level door.
Next level Dorp. So over the weekend, there were the Teen Choice Awards, and things happened after that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So the Teen Choice Awards this year had a lot of. Well, I think last year too had some internet awards, but there was quite a few.
Fair amount.
Fair amount. There was a lot of internet awards for internet creators, which is so fucking cool. None of them were televised, but they were there.
I think Miranda's was televised.
Oh, really?
There was
Okay.
a couple of them that were televised.
Yeah, just
Bethany
not all
Moda,
of them.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know because I didn't actually watch it.
Yeah.
I
neither
was
did
watching like parts of it on like Periscope, honestly,
Yeah.
because I wanted to stay on my phone.
Yeah. Well, that's how we do it now. But anyway, it was cool because there was a lot of talented people who won awards and people who we are familiar with being internet people, which was really cool. And then today, E! Online, one of the writers on E! Online, published an article. It was an opinion piece about how it was basically how embarrassing it was to watch the Teen Choice Awards not knowing who anybody was. Basically referring to all the young internet winners who apparently nobody knows who they are because the person who wrote the article said
Right.
that. Now, just to preface this, the woman who wrote the article did go on Twitter and she said it was in sarcasm. Everyone could use a lesson in sarcasm or something, basically implying that she wasn't serious in what she said, right?
She did, yeah. She said, I think I'm going to be holding a sarcasm masterclass, later tonight because apparently everyone in America needs it.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So take that as you want, as how you'd like to take that. But nonetheless, the internet was outraged and kind of shat all over both her and E! Online for the day on Twitter, tweeting things like, well, we'll get to that because I have screenshotted a whole bunch of tweets from creators and YouTube people.
I was proud of my response.
Your response was good. I didn't screenshot yours because I figured you could just tell them. But there was a lot of stuff, and it created a lot of waves. If you're on E! Online's team in this one or whatever, you could say it's good because you got a lot of press today, but at the same time, it wasn't good press. And while each writer at a publication does represent the entire publication, which with each piece that they put out, it was that woman who did that, and it was clearly an opinion piece. It wasn't like well, E Online is opinion, but
Right. Well, I think that honestly, just off the bat, whenever you're going to write something in like total sarcasm, which is what she claims it is, although if it was sarcasm, it's not even funny.
It's not even funny.
None of it was funny. I found none of it relatable.
Yeah.
Like she joked about being on the better side of 30 and not knowing who anyone was, to which I saw on Twitter someone responded, well, then why are you watching the Teen Choice Awards? Creep. But it's not everyone else's fault for you being out of touch. And even Tyler Oakley had retweeted someone or favorited something, because I was going deep down the rabbit hole of, it's not cute or endearing or whatever to be out of touch. It's just really kind of ignorant.
Yeah.
And
it's the opposite of relatable, because you are now the person who no one can understand what you're saying, because everyone is the person you're making fun of.
Right. So even if we gave her the benefit of the doubt that she wrote this, what she thought was a really funny, sarcastic, snarky piece.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you're making jokes, I'm not even a professional joke maker. I just do it for shits and giggles. You always reach that line if you're going to make an offensive joke or like some sort of questionable joke. You have to decide whether or not it's even worth it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to make an abortion joke, it needs to be like so laugh out loud funny and or like doing it in a way that's silly so that it's not offensive.
It's got to be 100% worth it.
Right. Like, I'm not going to try and come up with an example.
No, yeah.
I'm going to fail.
No, but you've said that to me many times.
Yeah,
if
like,
you're going to make a joke on the borderline of offensive, it's got to be really, really worth it.
Right. Like, if she had done that and it was really funny, like she had made it in a way of that she doesn't know who these people are, but like, hey, I really like, their silver hair. I thought that was a frowned upon for a young person.
Yeah.
But, that's fucking good for you.
Even that would have been funnier than what she wrote.
Agreed. But that's what I'm confused about, is that if we give her the benefit of the doubt that she wrote it in sarcasm, it still wasn't funny. You know what I mean?
No, it really wasn't. It felt like when you were reading the article, it felt like she had such animosity towards this level of popularity that she so clearly didn't understand. She didn't get it. And not only is it kind of like, well, 2015, you don't get why there's a Vine Choice Award. Like, Vine is massive. And you are trying to almost like backhand the internet by saying, oh, I'm the mass. I'm the people who I speak for so many people who agree with me. And really, you think you have all these people behind you with pitchforks, but really, no, those people know what the internet is. Like, so many people who you think you're speaking for don't agree with you.
My 6-year-old mother would probably laugh at that article and be like, come on, lady.
Well, yeah, I mean, your mom has she's very involved with the internet. She makes a living somewhat on the internet. And even my mom, who doesn't do that, she would know more than this article seemed to claim what was common knowledge. I think that was the most frustrating part for me, is that she didn't just get up there and be like, I don't know who this is. That's stupid. I don't know who that is. She tried to speak for so many people when it was just so not true.
Right. Well, yeah, and Corey that works with Tyler Oakley, had tweeted, you also, on top of sort of insulting a lot of people without making any sort of funny joke, because we all laugh at ourselves more than anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it had been funny, I think that we all would have been like, all right, it is what it is. Like, but she wrote it so nasty.
So nasty. So bitter.
Corey had tweeted that not only did she do all of that, but she had also just sort of criticized everyone for not wearing enough clothes, in her opinion.
Yeah, that was weird.
And he was like, oh, you're just going to fucking slut shame people now too on top of everything? Like, what in the world are you writing? And I would also like to point out,
what was wrong with the outfits? I was like digging for something that wasn't there.
Right, yeah, she was saying that, there's a lot of crop tops and that no one's getting dressed. They're just like showing way too much skin. And yeah, I mean,
grasping at straws.
Yeah, we're just really reaching all over the place.
Yeah.
But I would also like to point out that the Grace Helbig show was on E.
Yes.
And one of the first things that the E Online Twitter account did, which clearly they have, scheduled posts, scheduled articles with somebody tweeting for them in between.
Yeah.
And they had tweeted like, oh, well, what are you talking about, internet? We gave a YouTuber their own show with Kermit the Frog sipping tea.
No, but that's none of my business, that little meme.
Right. Yeah. But That's the problem, is that you can't have both sides of the coin.
And they were clearly trying to do that.
You can't say like, oh, well, it's cool if we, have one of our writers write this really nasty, out of touch piece, and then we give a YouTuber a show. Like, no, you guys are either collectively on board with what's happening with the internet, or you're not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, or it's like,
because if you have somebody going rogue like this and writing an article that's like, oh, I don't know who anyone is, it reflects really poorly on what was becoming very progressive for each. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And you make a good point when you say you can't, have your cake and eat it too. Like the girl wrote the article.
It says she's an editor too, by the way. She's not.
That's not good.
No,
that's kind of scary for E.
Good.
Yeah,
it's not
like
good.
I was gonna say. But anyway, so she writes this article, completely just out of touch article, and shades the internet big time. And then E! Online, same Twitter account that tweeted out that piece that is associated 100% with that writer, tweets out, remember when we gave that YouTube star her own show on E! But that's none of our business. But so here's the situation, okay? You shit on the internet, but then you claim to support the internet. So like you said, either you shit on the internet and then E! Online takes control, fires her and says, hey, we're sorry, we don't hate the internet. Or
at least maybe suspends her, or just ask her to apologize or clarify.
No, but that's one scenario. Yeah. Or the other scenario is you completely stand by her and you're like, no, fuck the internet, middle finger up, and you don't talk about the fact that you gave a YouTube star a show. Like, you can't mention that in the same day, let alone like in the same couple of hours.
That's like, hiding.
You're so dumb for that.
Your employee wrote, what she thought was funny, but was not aligned with your company.
No.
And you guys defended it as sarcasm, which is not an excuse for what that article was. Yeah, and then it was not sarcasm.
And then they're like,
thanks for your masterclass offer, but I think most of us are going to pass.
Yeah. And they were kind of digging themselves into holes today. Like Tyler tweeted, if this article, in quotation, is representative of E! Online, I fear for the brand's future. And they tweeted back at Tyler. Did you see their response?
What did they say?
It was a picture of Tyler with that new Straight Outta Compton filter. It says Straight Outta Chill. They literally tried to go back at Tyler.
I did not realize that was a response
to that. They responded to Tyler by literally getting in a petty fight on Twitter when really so he makes a constructive criticism of this article, but he quotes articles, so he's implying it's not even an article.
Which it wasn't.
And they get in this fight on Twitter saying Tyler's Straight Outta Chill. Who looks stupid here? I mean, you not only fucked up, but now you're so far into the fucking rabbit hole.
You make a meme of someone that they're literally mocking him. I didn't realize that was a response. Yeah. I saw that and I was like, all right, you're gonna really go there. You guys are going balls out.
Balls out, but in the weirdest way. Seja Rankin is her name.
Yeah, that's also the problem, is that I understand that if you work at a big company like E! and you're faced with sometimes having the choice of backing up some of your creative people, even if they make decisions that aren't exactly ideal, at least they're calling their own shots, working for themselves, writing what they want to write. You're put in a really difficult position in that if you start flaking out on your employees, nobody wants to work for a company like that. You know what I mean? You want to be backed by your employer. Yeah. And if she had written, something that was wrong or just really factually incorrect, she can hide behind this veil of sarcasm, and it kind of forces E! to take her side. Do you know what I mean?
Because if they want to,
if they want to, but they also they write a lot of fluff, you know what I mean? Yeah. What are they going to start doing? Telling people that because this isn't nice or it isn't what people feel like they want to read, are they going to get rid of all their clickbait? Are they going to get rid of all the pictures of people's kids? Are they going to get rid of all their stories about, questionable things?
Yeah.
No, it's sort of the nature of some of the content that they're bringing online, that if they decide that this is a reason that they want to fire somebody, it's not really enough in comparison to what all of the content is that they're putting out. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. 100%.
So they kind of have to stand behind her, but they do not have to. I didn't realize that was a response. They do not have to mock people for, giving some constructive criticism.
Yeah. I don't know. There's also a way to stand by someone and not completely back up everything they wrote in the article.
Agreed.
You know, like you can be like, you know, we stand by our writer. Maybe she had this opinion that you guys didn't like. It doesn't mean we hate the internet. Something like that. You know, that doesn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, or even if E was like, hey guys, you know, whatever her name is totally allowed. Yeah. You know, she made a sarcastic article. Sorry if it made you guys upset. It wasn't meant that way. And, you know, I'm sorry.
That goes a long way.
It could have been a lot funnier.
That goes a long way.
It really does.
Like a little self-deprecation. Like, it could have been funnier. Maybe we'll put her on the bench for a while or something like that. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Just a little bit of acknowledgement.
Right.
But there was none. There was the opposite of that. Joey Graceffa was one of my favorite responses.
I love that one.
And it has over 11,000 retweets. So go get it, Joey. It says, "Hi at eOnline!" ! My name is Joey Graceffa, YouTube creator and New York Times bestseller. Nice to meet you. And it's just like, kill him with kindness, I guess. And then Shane went off and he goes, "Hi, I'm Shane, a YouTuber as well. You know, these people get more viewers than your channel, on their channel than your website." And then he also said, "Oh, and also Felix, aka PewDiePie, has 30 million subscribers. Remember when you guys had 30 million viewers?" No, me neither. There was a couple more. Should I keep reading a couple?
Yeah.
Okay. At Jeremy Cabo, retweeted by Tyler Oakley. This might have been the one you were referring to. "If you're in media and know nothing about internet talent, you're not cute or clever, you're genuinely irrelevant and terrible at your job." Which I think that's very well said.
That's the one I was trying to reference.
Alexis Gizal. I like this one. It said, "Remember that time that most YouTubers' replies to this tweet had more interaction and attention than yours?"
Ow!
Because it's true. It's true. Timmy Tomato.
I love him.
Did you see what he wrote?
What did he say?
He said, "eOnline need to watch themselves, though, because that toot ain't gonna fly with the YouTubers. Ignore them. Peace sign." I said that in his voice, or I tried to.
I love him.
Jenny Fox, I guess she's a YouTuber. She wrote, "So embarrassed for eOnline" in that article, dissing YouTubers that Stasia Wrights wrote. Does she realize where Grace Helbig is from?
Ow!
Yeah.
Burn!
Steve Zaragoza.
Wait, time out though. The article did not mention anything about Grace Helbig.
Nope.
Which
conveniently left Grace out of it.
First of all, this was my problem with them sipping tea and being like, "We gave a show to a YouTuber," is that Grace had nothing to do with the article, and then you drag Grace into it like some,
like if you're Grace, how do you
hostage. Feel? Yeah, like, "Oh, well, we got Grace, so like, are we right, Grace?" And Grace is like,
"I don't
Chris
know."
Melberger face.
Yeah, Grace is doing the Chris Melberger face.
I'm gonna back out.
I love everyone.
And come back when there's less weird shit.
Less weird shit. Oh
like,
my God.
Don't drag Grace into it, guys.
That's actually a really good point.
You know what I
why are
mean?
you gonna bring her into this when she's doing nothing?
Yeah, Grace had nothing to do
with this. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, Grace.
Sorry, Grace. I'm gonna come back when there's less weird shit.
Oh, and like, yeah. In response to that Grace tweet, Steve Zaragoza wrote, "Remember that time a completely tactless intern threw shade at one of the most talented women in LA," referring to Grace, where it did feel like, you know, oh, here's our little rag doll who's from the internet. Look at her. It's Grace. Okay, we're done. We need her for a tweet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's how it felt. Mm-hmm. Like, just everything about how they handled it.
Not my favorite.
Claudia Solowski, LOL, eOnline needs to get with it. Team Internet's been here and is here and has been here. Sam Faz wrote in response to the Grace tweet, "Well, you put Rich Kids of Beverly Hills on air and they reach 2% of the audience that these YouTubers do."
Burn.
I mean, the number comparison is obscene. Like, you can't even have that argument as eOnline.
No, you
like
can't.
someone put literally the stats of one of PewDiePie's videos. He gets more views in a day on his channel than some of E's programming gets in like a week.
Right.
And that's like a guy. That's a guy on YouTube who you said you didn't know who he was. I mean, saying who you didn't know who PewDiePie was, like, was laughable. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't know who Cameron Dallas is, fine. But
Even
PewDiePie?
that though. Even I'm offended.
I'm offended too, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna pick
E Online and you don't know who Cameron Dallas is, that's like working at fucking HP and
That's
not
true.
knowing how to like anything about anything.
What's a printer? I want to work at
printer?
HP. Yeah, no, you're right. No, but I'm just saying, like, Felix,
Wait, you
like,
guys
you're gonna
print shit here?
like, because he has a weird name, you're gonna say, who is this guy? Like,
It's
are
not
you
even that
kidding me?
weird, man.
I'm just saying, like, on paper, he doesn't, like, it's so obscene. Like, PewDiePie.
I know, but
Number
it's-
one on YouTube for, like, ever.
Right. And it's also unacceptable to pretend that's your shtick. You know what I mean? I don't know anything. You write for an entertainment company,
Yeah.
essentially, you know?
Yeah.
The fuck are you trying to pull right now?
Yeah.
And anyways, back to the point. Why are you watching the Teen Choice Awards?
Yeah. I like.
If it's pissing you off, turn it off,
Yeah,
bitch.
turn it off.
Put yourself out of your misery.
Oh my God.
Go get your red wine, okay? Go do your fucking Bachelor, whatever the fuck you like to watch that makes you feel not as old. And just call it a night.
And tell everyone on Facebook that you're on the better side of 30. Stay off Twitter. It's too young for you.
Yeah, but
I liked Philip DeFranco's response. Did you see what
Always.
he tweeted? And I liked it because it wasn't the same. He said, in response to someone asking him, I'm assuming what his thoughts were, he said, they were rude and snarky, but in their defense, I didn't know most people out there, referring to the people who won awards. Which, if, like, that's the case. Like, if you're a writer for E and
wait,
you don't...
I'm sorry. I'm confused. Can I see it?
So, Phil...
They were rude and snarky, but in their defense, I didn't know most of the people there. So he's saying, as someone that works on the internet, he also was not aware of some of the people that were there.
But it identifies that there's ways to go about saying you don't know who these people are without being an ass.
Oh, absolutely. But Phil DeFranco would never just make content to just, drag people down and be like, I don't know who this is, therefore they don't fucking matter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's low. And like you said, E! Online makes a lot of fluff and clickbait. So whatever they got to do to
Right. Well, that was my next question is, do you think that, because I'm not buying the, it's sarcasm, everyone should take a lesson.
It's a cop-out.
I think that this, because we were talking earlier about the whole Bella Thorne, how she claims that she was prompted by script to say Felix something something instead of saying his last name, Schellberg. And she was like, guys, it wasn't me. I didn't choose to say that. It was on the script.
Well, I think that the part after that where she goes, be here if you care about winning an award or something like that. That's what she said after that.
Regardless, she's not taking responsibility. Which if it's not her fault, go you. Good for you, Bella Thorne. Like, I'm not going to take a fall for a tasteless joke. I'm just doing my job for the night. Do you know what I mean? But like the internet was already pissed off about that in regards to PewDiePie.
Yeah.
And then this woman uploads this article after you see Bella Thorne and PewDiePie or Felix trending all night on Twitter. You got to see some gears turning here that this woman, like, it's not a new strategy to write pieces that intentionally piss people off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, any press is good press. Like that theory of just doing shit to get clicks.
Right, and I'm sure that, she was like, what would be funny is if I had all these little teens and tweens mad at me for, like, slamming their community and stuff. It would be so funny. Oh my God, I'll totally do it. Ha ha ha. Get me another glass of Pinot. But what I don't think that she actually thought all the way through, if this was her brainchild, I don't think she actually thought all the way through that, E represents, or not, I don't want to say represents, that's the wrong word.
But is associated with.
Had grace.
Yep.
I know that they are interested in a lot of internet people working with them in some capacity.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that she thought all the way through that maybe it wouldn't be so ha-ha funny.
No, it's not.
Maybe it would be really kind of a mess for E.
Because in 6 months from now, when E goes to another YouTuber to work with them, they're going to say, hey, aren't you guys the assholes who let that article go out?
Right. It's definitely, I think this is a terrible thing to say, but in the court of public YouTube opinion, it's really knocked E down a notch.
100%.
In our books.
Oh, 100%.
Because
this isn't go away.
The only way that the internet community has gotten to where it has now is by refusing people to cheapen us and to just make us these like, vehicles for advertising, to make us these little cash cows for, a year or however long until you're done with us. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here to make fun, cool shit, to be happy, and to not live by what anyone else wants us to live by.
And that's part of the allure of the internet, is that so many people said no to them. And yet they and we and everyone on the internet just does shit. They do it themselves, and they make cool shit, and they advance themselves with no help, from E or places like E who just don't care.
Right.
That's part of it. That's part of what makes the internet.
We can't say that E doesn't care.
I'm just saying.
I think the general consensus in traditional media is that we can no longer ignore the people of the internet because,
Look what happens when you do that.
Yeah, they're kind of making a mockery out of what we thought the rules were. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And we need to acknowledge that they're here. I think it's been a long road to getting to the point where people are even kind to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this article is very reminiscent of something that you would read 5 years ago.
Yes, absolutely.
When it was still cool to sort of shit on the internet.
Yeah.
And it was still cool to call us dumb kids and, say things about our bedrooms and that we aren't funny or entertaining and we're lazy or children.
Yeah.
And all of which, for the most part, is so far from the truth.
Yeah, but it was hot back then to do that.
It was a funny article to write that. Do you know what I mean? It's not funny anymore because only this woman is laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's not laughing, but yeah.
Well, if she had any kids, I'm sure that they'd have a fucking good laugh at that. Like, Mom, why would you do that? Now Cameron Dallas is never going to follow me on Twitter, you bitch.
You ruined my chances.
You ruined my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of people, celebrities, anyone that this woman, I'm sure, admires. Their kids are watching the internet.
Absolutely.
And you're not doing yourselves any favor by writing something like that. No one thinks it's funny anymore, lady.
Now, you know what? You should just lay low for a while.
Yeah, that's what my response was.
Yeah.
The first one was to Tyler's tweet because he was like, it's bad for the brand. And I was like, go easy, okay? It's Regina George, the intern's first day. And then I tweeted at Ricky and the woman, whatever her name is. Seja. And I had tweeted just that gif of when Brick from Anchorman is like, yeah, I stabbed someone who tried it.
Yeah, Brick killed the guy.
Brick killed a guy. Speaking of that, I've been meaning to talk to you. You might want to
lay low for a while.
You want to lay low for a while. You might want to find a safe house. You're probably wanted for murder. So.
Yeah. Well, while she lays low for a while, she might as well sign up for MeUndies. That way she doesn't have to leave her house to get underwear. She can have it delivered to her door.
Yes.
MeUndies.com will do that for you.
Yes.
Go to MeUndies. Check out the awesome selection of cool pattern underwear they have. It's some of the softest piece of clothing you will ever touch. And it stays in place, keeps you cool. I'm telling you, it's some of my favorite underwear. It lasts, really well built, twice as strong as cotton. MeUndies.com, and 20% off your first purchase. So if you want to get some MeUndies and you're like, hey, 20% off, like just type in Jenna Julien, MeUndies.com/Jenna Julien. You automatically get 20% off. And let us know. But maybe don't send us pictures of you wearing them. Just tweet it, like the words, like, hey, I like my MeUndies.
Yeah.
Because
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah. You can tweet that at MeUndies, then they have to deal with it.
You can put your MeUndies on your dog, though, or your cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or on the table like this when you eat dinner. Mm-hmm. I used to sometimes put my shoes on the counter, and my mom would be like so outraged. Like,
Savage.
That's where food goes. Savage, Julien. That's MeUndies.com/Jenna Julien. Check it out.
#savage.
Really quickly, just to go back. I don't want to go back 100%.
No, go back.
I just wanted to
go back.
To note this.
Let's get in it.
Well, Bella Thorne's response to the words that came out of Bella Thorne's mouth is that someone else wrote it. Now, I have a problem with that.
Why? She's an actress.
I have a problem with that. Because if you don't stand by a joke or a line, you don't say it, period. She is not some low-level pawn that they can get to say anything. She's a person who they had on stage presenting an award, and she chose to accept that low-grade joke.
Well, okay.
And it wasn't funny.
Here's my response to that, is that sometimes I imagine the rehearsal time for an entire award show maybe isn't very long or any at all. Like she could have gotten that script 2 seconds before she went out there. And also, it seems like a low pressure, funny, happy atmosphere that, you know, we're not going to be coming after you with pickets because you make a joke about One Direction on the Teen Choice Awards or PewDiePie. Like you kind of think you're in the safe trust tree in the nest, and that if you make one joke.
So then when you do it, you say, hey guys, when I accepted to read that joke, I didn't think it was going to offend people. You don't say all the blame's on E for feeding it to me. No, you fucking said it.
Teen Choice Awards.
Sorry, Teen Choice Awards. I'm sorry. I'm getting my things mixed up. But you're getting called to present the Teen Choice Awards, okay? And they hand you a card 20 minutes before you're actually supposed to be on. There was no rehearsal. They got cut. Shit happened. And it said a joke about how Ryan Higa didn't care enough about the Teen Choice Awards to be there. Now, Jenna, you have to say it because we're feeding it to you and there's not enough rehearsal time.
Girl, never.
Do you think that?
Okay, well, again, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I am an independent person. I work for myself. I don't work for anyone else. I'm not an actress. It is not my job to read other people's words. In theory, it's Bella Thorne's job to read other people's words for a living. This isn't out of her comfort zone. It's not a stretch for her. She probably, honestly, maybe didn't even think about it.
No, she didn't.
You know?
No, she didn't.
So I also don't fancy her as quite a wordsmith on Twitter. So maybe she thought she was apologizing in that sense.
Yeah.
But what came out was sort of like, what the
blame.
You guys don't understand.
Yeah. No, my problem isn't that she read the joke. It's that she just couldn't own up to it afterwards. She just had to say it was someone else's fault.
Honestly, I don't think it's a stretch at all that's how it went down. That she just read it and it wasn't her choice.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give Bella Thorne a pass on this.
Well, here's the thing. Like, honestly,
I'm not offended.
Here's how I think it went down. I think Bella Thorne got the card and it said Felix. How do you pronounce his last name?
Schellberg.
Felix Schellberg. But the line was Felix something, 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 basically saying it's not important enough and it's a confusing last name, right? So Felix something, 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 blah, blah, blah. Oh, be here if you actually want to care about winning your award or whatever the line was.
I think it's Schellberg now that I'm thinking about it. Pretty sure it's Schellberg. Anyways.
Yeah, anyway.
It's just spelled with a K and a J.
Yeah. No, it's a foreign last name, so it's difficult for us to pronounce.
Swedish, right?
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Well, I pronounce it Kajellerberg or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so she reads that and she's like, well, this might offend like him and his family, but I don't know who he is. So yeah, let's just do it. You know, because she really didn't know who PewDiePie was, and then she does it.
How do you know that? How do you know she
this
didn't?
is what I think happens.
This is your narrative.
Okay,
Okay, go.
So she looks at the card, says, "Oh, Felix something something something." Well, if they're saying something something something, and then she sees the real name, she's like, "Okay, well, Felix Schellberg, I don't know who that is." So he must not be, you know, someone who can really make any backlash from this one line. And then she says it, and she sees that he's the literal number one on YouTube, and gets slammed for it. Now, if you're Bella Thorne in that situation, which I honestly think that's probably how it went down, you say, hey guys on Twitter, hey guys, I had no clue who PewDiePie was. I'm very sorry if I offended any of you. Done. No one's going to be mad at you anymore. You apologize. You didn't place the blame on anyone else. You didn't lie. You told the truth. I didn't know who he was, and I thought the joke would have fit because it was something, something, something. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I mean maybe, but you didn't convince me.
You didn't convince me. Being a person who's fed lines for a living, are you telling me that they're just going to read whatever's in front of them all the time? And
yeah,
just
that's the joke. But
when the repercussions come,
think of Anchorman. He will read anything on the teleprompter.
Well, that's
anything.
That's deducing actors to dimwits.
No, of course, no one is making the sweeping generalization.
No, I'm just playing devil's advocate back at you.
Actors are dimwits, but it is a joke in theory that if you tell an actor, "Hey, read this on the teleprompter," they will say Adele Dazeem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want them to read X. Yeah. They will.
Yeah.
Sometimes they mess it up. Sometimes they say exactly what's on there and it's not exactly their fault.
Yeah, you're right.
But
agree to
you didn't sell me only because I know that Bella Thorne knows who YouTubers are because she's worked with Tyler Oakley. She follows a lot of them on Twitter. Like, I don't think that she's removed from the world of the internet at all. I believe that she did know who Felix was in the first place and that she was just, doing her job for the night.
Yeah. I mean, as hard as it is, I'm just a big proponent of owning up to shit that you do wrong.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah. No, I
it's,
think we both agree that maybe she could have handled it with a little more empathy, that, like, it's not the nicest thing in the world to write that.
Yeah.
She didn't write it. I believe her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she could have had a little more empathy, I think, when saying it wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, hey, it's not my fault. Like, coming from a place more of like, I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it kind of sucks when somebody says Adele Dazeem.
Yeah. Let's get that word generator out again.
Poor Idina Menzel can't, like, she had nothing to do with it, and it will follow her for the rest of her life.
But there's nothing flagrant about it. It's just a mistake, and it's funny.
Right.
So, well, we wanted to cover one more thing before we close the podcast, and it's sort of on the subject of being out of touch with the internet and coming off like an ass. And that brings us to the fat Jew, or the fat Jewish, whatever you call it. So this is a guy who's had an Instagram, a Twitter, maybe a website. I don't know. He's put out content for a long time, maybe a couple of years. And I've never liked anything he did because I always had seen it somewhere else before I saw it on his page. Always. It was a theme for every single time my sister or whoever on Facebook would have posted that and been like, hey, did you see that post? And I understand that some of the stuff that is on his page is funny, but so often it's not his. And he's recently been called out by, well, a lot of people.
Variety magazine wrote the story.
Variety magazine wrote the story. Patton Oswalt, Brian Redban, all these people and Joe Rogan, they're all going on Twitter trying to out him as this liar and this thief, basically, of jokes. Because he is, and there's proof of it a lot of the time. And I'm not going to just sit here and say things about him because I think what I think of him, but I think this happening brings up an interesting concept that you can be, I like to kind of put it like there's two levels of the internet in which you're involved with. And one is you're involved in the internet. You know the internet. You're an internet person. And the other is you're a pedestrian internet person, which means, and this is just an example, but you spend a lot of time on Facebook and maybe you see posts on Instagram of like memes for the first time on Instagram, which if you ever see a meme on Instagram for the first time, something's wrong there. Like memes happen on the internet, not on Instagram. Like they happen on Reddit. They happen, I don't know. And I think that a lot of the time the fat Jewish was getting away with stealing jokes because he was taking stuff from the deep internet, the real involved part of the internet, and bringing them over to the pedestrian part of the internet where people hadn't seen them yet and putting his name on them. Now, it's not a dumb strategy. It worked. It built a brand for him, but it's kind of identified this divide in that like people who only know so much of the internet can get fooled by that.
Right. Well, I think that it's important for a lot of reasons because piracy on the internet has been a big issue for a long time. Like not only piracy of jokes, which, the comic world is very strict about, when you steal people's jokes, this is not cool. It's not okay. Yeah. You're not allowed to just do it a couple times or tweet it or do it in your stand-up where you think that no one's at. Stealing jokes isn't cool. Yeah. So the part that I think more people are getting involved in is that it involves stealing jokes. That's already a very, fuck off. You can't do that.
Absolutely.
But piracy as a whole is an enormous issue on the internet. Think of all of our friends that make Vines when they get swooped up into these compilation videos that get uploaded to YouTube and get 12 million views. Yeah. And the kid that's sitting there on his phone compiling all of these Vine compilations is getting money off of you. Yeah. I have plenty of fake accounts on YouTube where they have millions of views because they genuinely think they're watching the right channel. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It is what it is. And even Facebook now, there's the whole Facebook, YouTube, they're counting 3 seconds of a video as a view, and you can innately just upload a video to Facebook, and they're videos that would go viral usually on YouTube, although viral is not the same word anymore, are going more viral on Facebook because someone just uploaded it, to their 10,000 friends, and that's where it took off. You know what I mean? Even though it's not their video.
For sure.
But piracy as a whole on the internet is a serious problem.
Yeah.
I think that they singled out Fuck Jerry at this current moment.
The Fat Jewish. I think they're two different.
Fuck Jerry and Fat Jewish, whatever.
Same type of person, but yeah.
I think that they singled out the Fat Jewish once they caught wind that he was signed with a talent agency. He has a book deal.
Yeah, he's actively making a lot of money and making a brand off of this.
Right. It's not like, some kid with a YouTube channel that there's, I guess legally in theory, maybe it would take a long time to go after a kid with
and
all
also,
these fines.
Yeah, and they're not building a brand
because
off of it.
this is, seemingly one guy, one person running this entire, business, quote unquote, empire by himself by just stealing things off the internet. It's easy to single him out and call him out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he is one of the better examples of just pure fucking piracy.
Yeah.
You cannot just take everything that you think is funny and post it and then sign a book deal.
Well, you can. Exactly.
Right,
you can do it as a pedestrian on the internet and just tweeting about it because it's funny. But no,
it's going to present a problem in the future because, think of blogging. Because in theory, blogging is sort of the same idea. You're taking whatever funny happened on the internet that day and then writing something about it. Do you know what I mean?
You're not copy and pasting it.
Right. You're not copying, pasting. You're offering at least some writing. Or
that's why we go to your blog. We want to see what you have to say about this funny thing.
Well, that's why you might go to BuzzFeed, because the difference is, maybe BuzzFeed compiles a bunch of fucking funny things. They write a funny story. They at least make a quiz for you to take while you're there. They also own everything and have a staff. It's not one guy just ripping everybody off.
Yeah. But like I said, isn't it insane that he got away with it for so long because he only fed the jokes to the part of the internet
you and I are the same in that, I was always under the impression that there's different people on the internet and that there's people that are actively sharing and using, and that there's spectators. You know what I mean? Like someone that's a spectator of the internet, there's nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever, but that you're not uploading content all day every single day. The people that this is pissing off are the people that are
whose jokes have been stolen.
Right, you're using things. Everybody loves piracy until it's actually affecting you. You know what I mean? You love downloading illegal music, you love watching movies illegally, you love stealing other people's jokes and have everybody think you're really funny, or so that you can gain followers on Instagram, or you just love not having to pay for something, not having to give credit where credit is due. Everybody really likes it until you realize, hey, fuck, that's fucking mine. What the fuck? And then it's a problem. And I think that he ripped off enough people to where it really was not okay. And he's easy to single out. He's not a corporation. You're not, because the Facebook thing is a much bigger problem. You can't really go knock on Zuckerberg's door and be like, hey bro, heard that you were letting people just post whatever video they wanted on Facebook and monetize on it. It's kind of fucked up, don't you think, man? You know what I mean? They're able to say, the Fat Jewish, hey, guess what? This is not right. Fuck you. And I always hated when people would be like, oh my God, do you follow fucking the Fat Jewish? He's so funny, man. And
I hated that so much.
It would really piss me off. And I thought it really was a person at first. Do you know what I mean? When I first saw it, I'm like, okay, I don't get it. They just post memes. Is that their Instagram? You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, it's so funny. And I'm like, yeah, of course some of it's funny. They're just ripping, the best of other people's jokes on the internet and putting it on theirs. In theory, I guess that's a service, but to then capitalize on it, I don't want that service. You know what I mean?
No, it's not right at all. It's frustrating because we've seen it.
That would be like if Reddit was a person.
Well, it is. It's a collection of people, very loyal people.
But
I
Reddit is one guy, and he's like, bow to me, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, I get it. No. I mean, I've said what I need to say on the matter.
What?
No, just having been a person who goes on Reddit or goes all over the internet and has another person say, "Hey, look at fuck Jerry." I keep fucking it up now too.
Fuck Jerry and Fat Jewish. There's a bunch of
whatever.
them.
Look at this fat Jerry. And isn't this a funny meme? And I'm like, yeah, I saw it 3 days ago at the front page of Reddit. What do you think you're doing? This was posted 5 seconds ago on Instagram.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
Reddit though, at least the person that posts that, That's the one getting upvoted. People are happy with getting
and
credit.
even on Reddit, people will repost stuff to get fake internet points on Reddit, which I don't even know
people
why.
always get called out for it all the time.
Yeah, like
repost. This is a repost.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Nice try. I don't know, man. I think that it's an ongoing problem.
I'm just so happy to see him being called out for it finally by people who like have push.
Right.
Seeing
Agreed.
Joe Rogan retweet Brian Redband saying "fuck you, fat Jewish."
I was
with
looking at that on
screenshots.
Twitter. It was really incredible. It's like
it's literal screenshots
they're like,
of
why
the
can't
copy
you
and
give
paste.
credit to this fucking person that made this? Like, fuck you. I think it's part of an ongoing problem, and it's going to be interesting. Obviously, it will take a very long time for the law to catch up with what's happening now on the internet because things move really quickly.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you guys follow Fuck Jerry, just go and follow him right now. For me.
And it has a lot to do with intellectual property. You know, but who's to say, like, where's the line here? What is intellectual property?
It doesn't exist yet.
Is it your tweet? Is that your intellectual property?
Yeah. No, it's gonna exist soon, but right now it's still a weird gray area.
It's hard. It's a gray area, and it's weird because
it's like how people were periscoping the Mayweather fight. It's like that's technically
so
legal.
weird.
It's technically legal because there's no law yet.
And we were watching. That's why I was watching the Teen Choice Awards on Periscope last night because I'm like, as long as someone's periscoping it, I'm gonna sit here and fucking watch it, man.
Fuck it.
The Floyd Mayweather fight, I'm going to sit here fucking watching. Yeah, sure. This is hella illegal. But you know what? Like, for now.
Technically, it's not.
Like, I don't. Again, I'm the same way. Everybody loves piracy until it's fucking their shit that's getting pirated.
100%.
You know?
Plus, that fight sucked. So
it did suck.
That was a horrible fight.
But think about, Dana White. Your company sort of survives on pay-per-view views, and then everyone's just putting it on Periscope.
I'm a big proponent of the UFC moving away from the pay-per-view model, honestly. I think that's a different conversation.
Conversation, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Sorry, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I'd be kind of annoyed that people are periscoping my fight right now.
No, 100%. It's their property, yeah.
But you know what? I love watching it on Periscope. You know what I don't like? People stealing my videos and putting them on Facebook.
You're right.
But like to say that you never engage in something pirated is a lie.
No, too real, babe. Too
you know
real.
What I mean?
No, that's 100% right.
So, like, I think that people are mad at the Fat Jewish for doing all of this stuff because they got caught, or he got caught stealing something of yours. You know what I mean? Like, you made enough people angry.
Yeah.
You can't just have all this. You can't have a book deal off of my jokes. Yep. You know what I mean? That's wrong.
Yeah, a book deal. God.
But how many, 5 million people, or how many people follow the Fat Jewish?
Oh, I don't know.
They've thoroughly enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard. And I mean, like, look.
It's never right. But if piracy exists, we're going to engage in it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking the Fat Jewish.
And if you look at him, you're just like, oh, God, you make me angry, guy.
No, we should put him on a stage and we should have him like tell us jokes.
With Joe Rogan in the crowd.
Yes.
So if he calls one fake joke, he screams at him.
Yes. Okay, or just like have him go on Joe Rogan's podcast and have Joe Rogan be like, okay, what do you got? Give us some
jokes.
Give us
Wait, you got like 5 million followers on Instagram. You got to be funny, right? Come on, what do you got?
Right, just give us anything.
Oh, have Brian Redband in there
Are
too?
you charismatic? We know you have a ponytail, but like, what's your shtick?
What do you bring to the
got?
table?
What do you got, Fat Jewish?
No, don't hand me your book. Talk to me.
don't hand me your book.
Wait, opens the book, chapter 1. Wait, this is an Instagram post.
Right. But who's to say though? Because in theory, what if he is a really funny guy? He looks hysterical.
He's funny looking. Yeah.
What if he really does, do a lot of things that we don't know about? Like, what if it's not what it appears? What if he really is a funny guy?
I'll wait to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll do that later if I want to.
Do that later if I want to.
Yeah, he doesn't get any benefit of doubt yet.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he really is a funny guy, or at least like just by his hair and his dog
he's
and
funny
whatever.
Looking. Yeah.
That maybe if he wrote a book, it was actually funny.
I'll buy that book and I'll make a video while I read from it, and it'll be really funny.
No, every time you turn a page, you read out of someone else's book.
That's his book. He literally takes a page from Grace's book, Ricky's book.
Connor's
does Ricky have a book?
Shane's
Connor's
book. No, I don't think Ricky has a
Tyler's
book.
book.
Tyler's book.
Another one from Shane's book. Shane's book is really good. Let's take
Felicia
two.
Day's book's in there.
Yeah.
Everybody's book is in there. Oh my God. And then it's like My Drunk Kitchen, part of it, and You Deserve a Drink.
And then like in the middle, there's just like a giant picture of him. And you're like, okay. And then back to Shane's book, back to Grace's book.
And then you open the middle of it and it starts playing Sesame Street.
Original song by the Fat Jewish.
Oh my God. Original song by the Fat Jewish.
Score and vocal by the Fat Jewish.
I love you, you love me. Hey guys, it's the Fat Jewish. Okay guys, so here's my idea for a television show for children, okay? It's a big purple dinosaur, except instead of a dinosaur, it's me covered in purple paint and my hair's up really high. We're gonna call it Barney, okay? The Fat Jewish Barney.
Each episode's gonna be 16 seconds and it's gonna go on my Instagram.
Also, it's gonna be starring Cameron Dallas and Nash Greer, and the lady that wrote this article. We're gonna put her in a fire and we're gonna burn it.
Wow, this was a great fucking podcast.
Whatever. I think, okay, to wrap things up, I think that, I can't remember the Seja, whatever, I can't remember her fucking name, Seja. You know, we shouldn't be like, you know, bullying her or anything. You're obviously always welcome to write things for your opinion and whatever you want. Although it wasn't an opinion, it was just a really misplaced what she thought was funny. And she just got called out for it. Yeah. But like, just don't, let's leave her alone. Let's let her lay low.
Yeah, let her lay low for a while. Change her name or something.
And let's let E deal with her.
Yeah, E's got enough shit to deal with. Guys, but seriously, in the comments, I'll really want to hear all your opinions on what we talked about, because it's important for you guys to have a voice and let us know, because this involves you. It really does. It involves you directly.
Right. Yeah, maybe someday you'll fucking upload a video of your sister falling into a pool and it will be all over the place and someone will claim that it's theirs and it's not.
Oh, I already saw that on the Fat Jewish's Instagram. And it happens in 5 years. So
it already has 6 billion likes on the Fat Jewish's Instagram.
God.
But don't worry.
Yeah,
don't worry though, because he's getting
directly
paid for
involved in this revolution happening right now. This giant change that's inevitably slowly taking place with the internet and everything. So let us know your thoughts on the matter, and if we pissed you off or made you happy in what we said, let us know.
Yeah, and the Fat Jewish we'll see what happens with him, because I'm not following.
No, I'm following that shit closely.
Them, I'm unfollowing them.
And go get yourself some
because
MeUndies.
Joe Rogan. Just because Joe Rogan.
I love Joe Rogan.
I love you, Joe Rogan. Do you remember we like one time we drew on a whiteboard next to our stationary bike in the house that we were gonna race each other to Las Vegas?
Like by counting the miles on the bike.
Yeah. It was like,
and we would reach zombie Joe Rogan in Vegas, and he was like in the.
And he was gonna.
We got to do that again. I need to get back on the bike more.
It was really fun. Anyways.
All right, go get some MeUndies. Thank you, MeUndies, for supporting our podcast. It means a lot. MeUndies.com/Jenna Julien. Some of the softest underwear delivered to your door. You can even answer your door like naked and then just put them on. Like I've done that.
You have though.
We have like 3 different UPS guys though.
But real talk though, Julian, you have.
I have. I've answered the door basically naked.
You've answered the door in your underwear, taken your underwear off, and put a new underwear on.
Yeah. So?
Once you close the door, it's like, oh, I'm going to put these on.
Thumbs up for answering the door naked, baby. All right, we love you guys. We'll see you next week on the podcast.
Bye. Think, 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 think.